So the direction I've been taking in career has been evolving and changing. For me, writing books, being an author, huge achievement. Very proud of what I've accomplished. But I'm noticing myself that I'm doing an awful lot of video content lately, and I actually enjoy it. It's far easier for me to do this than it is writing. Writing's easy, but there's so much fine tuning the whole process. It can get stressful. I will continue to write books, but because this is simple and easy for me, I can flow faster. So I really enjoy it. With that in mind, I'm aware that I need the best setup possible. Even if it's aesthetically better, it's production qualities. There's nothing I can do about the room. That irritates the life out of me. It really does. But a lot of us are bound by a space. There's just, what can you do? In the garden. It is what it is. I thought about a green screen, but again, but you have to live in these environments. When you've got things scattered all over the place, it's not even, you've got to live in it too. So for now, I don't know if there's much I can do about it. I may go green screen, I may not. At the moment, I don't want to. It's just that's a nightmare. Video quality for me is huge. I really do want to invest in good cameras. It's going to cost upwards from £500 to maybe £800. It's going to be a lot of money that I don't really want to get into right now. My microphone is a good microphone. A good microphone. Ain't a great microphone, but it's a good microphone. It's better than people just using their phones, for instance. I've had to add software manipulation a little bit just to enhance it. From my point of view, I'm getting the best I possibly can from it, but there's limitations, and I need to still record my audiobooks. There's things I want to do, so for me it has to be the best it can be to an extent. So with that in mind, I'm looking at a new microphone. Now some people might think this is fine, but I can understand the limitations with it. And the thing for me is, like I said, I want my production to be the best it can now. I want to start improving it all the time. I'm always refining, fine-tuning, working on things. So the way I see it is, if I stick with one microphone for a long period, or all my videos are based on that one, and then eventually when I do upgrade the microphone, I'll probably look back myself and think, before that was inferior, even if what I've said is great. Like, if I love what I said, but it's using inferior quality, it's noticeable. So I'm like, yesterday, just looking at microphones. In fact, I've been looking for the past couple of days, but yesterday I was like, I really want this one. It's not like incredible amount of money, but my circumstances, I've explained. My financial situation is a bit precarious at the minute. Now, I've been prophesized for better things, and I always knew February, March was like a pivotal period of my year. I knew that last year. Now, timeframes can change. I'm still pretty confident with that, even though it doesn't seem it in terms of where I'm at. I know things can happen out of nowhere. And I'm pretty sure it potentially could be through this content I create through videos rather than my books, or it could be a combination. But again, I need to have the best I can get. So I've ordered a microphone now that I couldn't afford. I actually literally use my tarot cards. Where's the card? There it is. So I tasked this morning. I was like, I'm in a dilemma here. I know I need a new microphone if I'm going to do this long term. I don't want to buy the cheapest model, and I'm upgrading. It just gets tedious. I want something that can last for a few years now. But I was like, maybe it isn't the time yet. Maybe I'll do it in a few months when it's more sensible financially. But then how many videos would I have created by then? So I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I know financially, be smart. Then I'm like, wait a minute. Is spirit got my back in this? Is an opportunity going to come where I don't have to worry in a few weeks or a month or so? Maybe it'll be fine. So I've got my cards out, and I kid you not, I was like, right, should I be upgrading my microphone now? Do I need to upgrade my microphone now? And before that, I was already saying, oh, you can have my back or what? I don't know what I'm doing here. And I kid you not, 9 of cup, and that's your wishes. Fill in your cups. And on the back, it was the Hierophant. I was like, oh shit, okay, we're doing this. Now, so what I'm showing over this side is, I'm getting goosebumps. I'll be all right. It's fine. Even though in my head, I'm like, this is difficult. Man, I don't know if I can do this. But I am, like I said, I'm committed to what I'm doing. I take it serious. I'm investing in it all the time. Even the way I talk. I'm not like unnatural. I'm not being myself. But even innately, I'm growing the way I speak. If I'm having a conversation with someone, I can talk incredibly fast. If I talk to some sort of foreigner or something, I'm in a workplace, sometimes they're smiling, and then after they say, I can't know what you said. And it's like, what? Because I can get excited and I can talk fast. So like things come to me, flow fast. I'm a fast thinker, and I can speak just as fast as I'm thinking. But I'm fine tuning all the time. So I'm finding better speech patterns, better way of just talking in general. So that's good. It's at a level of control and mastery that I'm having over self, which then goes in hand with what I'm thinking. But again, the hardware has to match that. There's no point me talking as good as I can, but then I've got inferior hardware around me. So recently I upgraded this microphone from its USB input. Like, USB was fine. It was okay. But I'm like, all the professionals have an XLR. I think it's XLR. I think it's XLR. Yeah, XLR, the big connection out the back. It's heavy duty. And what it does, I'm going to show here now what I've purchased a little bit, what I was considering. Because I've done some research on microphones. When I say done, I mean heavily. I've been obsessed. I'm just listening to microphones constantly, and I've found some great channels. So first of all, I've bought this Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. It's a 3rd gen. There's now a 4th gen, but it's outside my budget. You're looking at nearly £200. I paid £100. Now, I was looking at a Behringer. I can't remember the name now. It's a black model. It's about £80. Fine. I think it's a bit older. And I just thought, I was looking at them too, and I was like, oh, we'll get this one. It's about £30 more, I think. £20-30 more. And I thought, we'll just get that one. I want to have quality. Plus, I knew it come with a lot of software. I've not used the software, but I've downloaded some of it. So I'm thinking it pays for itself. So there's all these different models you can get. Some have a single input, so one microphone, that's it. I've chosen a model slightly more expensive. When I say slightly, it's maybe £20-30 more than the other model. But this one has 2 inputs. So if I was to do a podcast, for instance, or I have a guest, or there's just someone here with me, there's a potential that we can just plug 2 mics in. Now, like I said, most mics. So when this other mic comes, this one's a USB anyway. So even if I didn't have that, I could just connect it to USB. But I'm thinking infrastructure-wise, let's at least get it mid-tier, rather than the lowest it can get. So that's what I bought. And I'm like, I noticed the sound quality improvement immediately, to be honest. Some people might not notice it. I did. And I was like, great, this is great. But like I said, I'm getting the most out of this microphone that I possibly can. So it's reached a peak. And if I want more from it, it's just not going to give me it. At least I don't feel it would. Now, the good thing about ordering from Amazon compared to anyone else is if I don't see a difference and I don't think it's worth it, I can just send it back. No point holding on to things that are no good for us. If I made a bad choice, I can send it back and get an alternative, So what I've purchased is the Shure MV7X. Now, this is incredible value. £154. Now, I'm struggling with this, but I'm like, I need quality. This microphone, the Samson Q2U, is a good mic. It really is. I'll keep it. I'm not going to throw away microphones. It's still a good microphone. But this was £80 at the time, about 2 or 3 years ago now. But at the time, I was like, I don't know if I should go a little step higher. But this is really good for the quality of the price. Now, this is £154 for Shure MV7X. They do a model without the X on the end, and that has USB support with it. But apparently the XLR connection is weak. I don't know why. But that's about £250, 280, I can't remember, something like that. So you're looking at over £100 more for a model that just has USB support added to it, which I don't need. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'll get a £280 microphone for £150 here. So that's quite incredible. And it looks modern. Sure, it's a massive brand. For example, all the big podcasters right now, they're all using this one. The Shure SM7B, £380. Now, there's different models of this. You can get one that's got a preamp built in, all this other stuff. Now, my one's only £154 by the same brand. It's missing just some of the deep tones. But for the price, it's ridiculous, because the problem with that is this one can fit straight into my audio interface that I've already bought. There's no extra cost, so I'll just buy that. We're up and running. If I paid £379, which I can't do because I haven't got the money, but if I had it later, the trouble with it is it needs a boost. It won't work unless it gets a sound boost. So you then got to pay £150 for a cloud lifter, which will lift the audio of it so it actually functions. So straight away you're looking at £500. At least 500. It's going beyond that. Then, from my understanding, it's quite heavy. I think it's heavy, so you might have to get a stronger boom arm, which is another £100. So you're looking at £600 for that microphone. And I'm like, well, this one's fine. Again, I can check it out. I can see what it's like. This is the level of depth I've gone into this. Then I was looking at these two. So this one, the Fifine K688, it's supposed to be a really good microphone. These pick up a lot of sound though. and they're not as high quality, but they're still a really good There's like an alternative to this one, but I'm not sure how much better it is. I've been doing so much research and I still couldn't conclude it. I came close to getting this one for £80, the K688. Then what happened was Mayano, they saw the popularity of the K688 and they produced one that's very similar. Now, I'm not a fan of RGB lighting. It's not my cup of tea. I can't remember the specific things I didn't like with this the microphone, but there were certain things I can't remember offhand now. I think it's got a weak the sponge part as well, and they make a lot of noise. So if you touch the microphone at all, it can make a huge noise. But they were options, and I was like, they're the ones I'm looking at. It's cheap and cheerful. But then wait a minute, if you're always going to be wondering what it's like to have the better microphone, you might as well just get the better microphone, you know? And that's where I got to. For me, like I said, the infrastructure is hugely important, and we do have to fine tune like a balance to ratio, you know, like what you want. But for me, I can see me doing this getting more serious. There was someone I collaborated on a book a while ago, a few years ago. We talked about doing a podcast. She was more excited than I was, because at the time I was so focused on my books and other opportunities with that I was creating. It was like things that I have found interesting for self. But I've realized that for the past few years, what was it, 3-4 years, I've been doing talking on camera an awful lot. I used to do live streaming on gaming. I still do it sometimes, a little bit of fun. But I've realized, wait a minute, you're not recognizing yourself that this is what you've been doing all along. You know, I talk on camera trying to help people, try to educate people, trying to help give guidance to people, try and show people that life isn't a lost cause. You can change your circumstance, all these sort of things, sharing a spiritual journey. But in the back of my mind, it's always been like, the books are important. The books are the thing that's most important. This is just a side thing. This is just me keep myself busy between books. That's how I thought. Now I'm thinking, this is just as significant as the books, if not more, because more people will see this. More people can relate to video content. Not everyone can read. Now, I still prefer my books, if you're going to ask me, because I can structure the books, you know, in terms of someone picks it up, they'll read it in a specific order, or they can flow between chapters. There's going to be a lot of videos over time, whereas the books are sort of restricted to a specific book. You know, you pick a book up, maybe there's 20 to 40 chapters, whatever. You know, it's manageable. Over time, there's a lot of videos, and it's just the way it is. But I enjoyed doing it, and I know it will help the right people. Now, another thing to say is I can see this being my thing, something I do a lot. I keep getting signs there'll be collaborations. So maybe I'll feature on someone else's podcast. Later on, mine grows and builds, and it's collaborations on mine. So there's opportunities within it. I just haven't seen the opportunities yet. I'm not someone that just worries too much about that. Even if there wasn't, I'd still create, because I've been doing it for years with no return. It's just something I feel innately I need to be doing. So someone could look and go, well, you're only getting 3 views on that, get 2 views. Yeah, it's irritating. I'm not gonna lie, that's irritating. I think it's good quality, but it ain't my fault if a platform isn't pushing it out. You know, you can't say a video is bad if you've only had 3 views because only 3 people have seen it. You know, let's be realistic. The platform isn't supporting it, because I'm not a very good self-promoter. I don't like marketing. I can't even be bothered half the time to put hashtags on my videos. On YouTube, I can't even be bothered to put tags, let alone a description. So some ways, yeah, that's something else I need to work on. And if I'm going to take it serious, I need to take that bit more serious, because I'm not putting enough effort. I put the effort into the video, but after that, there's no production. In terms of like, I don't care about all the fluff, you know. But the way I see it is, at any moment, a video can go viral. Any video can pick up, and then all of a sudden, people are looking up all your other content. So it can go through the roof. You can get one video that just peaks, and it's like, whoa, now where's all the other videos going? And then people will be looking, going, this guy's been around for ages, and no one's even seen him. What's going on? And then boom, 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 boom. So, like I say, I take it serious. I don't really care about the statistics all the time, although it'd be nice to have some sort of recognition or sort of viewership, you know, because it does feel a bit of a waste, like doing it to help people, and there's no one to help because no one's seeing it. So that does get a bit frustrating. I'll admit that part. In terms of like the recognition to a deep, profound level, it's not really what I do. I don't really do it to have 1 million likes, 1 million followers, but it's just like some sort of level of, you know, you're doing something useful. It'd be nice. So yeah, I just sharing what I'm going through, the sacrifices I make, because in all honesty, I know it doesn't seem a lot of money, but someone that's really just trying to count the pennies between bills at the minute, is like it's heavy. It's a silly investment in some regards, because this is really doing a job. But I have to look at the long term rather than short term, and I always live my life like that. I'm not a short term thinker. I'm always like looking 1 million miles forward, And I can't help but think, like I said, one video picks up, the other videos follow suit. I would rather have more videos of the best quality I can produce than an incredible amount of videos that I'm like, I wish I had a better setup there. I wish I had a better microphone. Oh, I wish I took the plunge at that point, or wish I had the money then. Oh. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes we've got to take those little sacrifices to build our production up, to get that quality improving. My brother, for instance, anytime he buys anything in terms of like your computer setup, all the part, anything, he always goes the cheapest. And I'm like, you're a nightmare. You're an absolute nightmare. The quality difference is huge. Now, between this and that one, I don't know if that will, because this wasn't cheap to begin with. But what I'm saying is some people always go cheap. And the problem is their experience is then cheap. Even if you're just using a product, the cheapest product is very basic in its form. It's not enjoyable. It's just absolutely terrible. For instance, someone might buy the cheapest keyboard for the computer and the cheapest mouse. Those are inputs. Those are things you touch all the time. Someone might think, why buy an expensive piece of hardware? Like it only does this. Yeah, it only does that, but it does it very often. You know, this one, for instance, my wireless one, it took me a while to invest in this, to be honest. But when I did, I was like, wow, I'm never going back. I've got a very good gaming laptop, an Alienware gaming laptop. I sold a computer. I've minimized. I've downsized. Later on, I'm looking at this now. I wish I had my computer still, but whatever. For now, and I still love this keyboard, even though the Alienware has a nice built-in keyboard. This is about £150. I paid about 120 in a sale, which was Amazon sale. It's missing the extended parts, you know, but it's absolutely fluid and beautiful. I got a Razer DeathAdder mouse. I love this mouse. Again, that goes on sale about £30 uses, but it's retails 50, 60. But then someone might go and pay £10 for each thing. It's like you're just getting a terrible experience. Same with your screens. Everything we use, there's a reason something's cheap and something's expensive. Now, sometimes things can get extreme expensive where, like a pro user, you don't really know to go too far. But what I'm just saying, trying to get people across really is that where you invest is where you will yield results where you invest. You buy cheap, you're going to keep replacing it. Eventually, you may as well just had something nice. It's usually more durable anyway. But like I said, I still need to do something about my camera. Now, I'm going to see, obviously, I haven't seen the video, while I speak, I haven't seen the video playback of this. So I'm using my mobile phone at the moment, my iPhone, the camera to screen mirror it to my computer through video software. So like that's good, but because the camera controls at each side, which really annoys me that there's no feature on the iPhone to just like clear the HUD. Because if it could clear the HUD, I don't have to pinch it. So I'm having to manually zoom in with my fingers to cut off the extra layers, which is annoying because if I didn't have to zoom in, my picture would be sharper. Then yesterday I went into the settings and I realized there was some high quality features I had disabled, usually for my own benefit. If I'm taking photos myself, I don't want to use all the data, the memory up, it'd be ridiculous. But because I'm not actually pressing a button to record, in this instance, I'm just screen sharing the actual camera. I'm wondering whether the picture's better because I've got it on RAW Pro or something like this. I can't remember what it's called. So the picture should be a little bit sharper, and I'm hoping it's sharper than my previous videos. If it is, that is wonderful because I haven't got the money to invest in a camera right now. But later on, I do want to invest in a really nice setup. But then my room limits me anyway, and there's not much you can do about that without demolishing your entire room and just start smashing everything up. I'm not going to do that. This has to work around my life for now until something happens that propels me into a new space, and it's like, well, now I have a studio, baby. Let's strictly keep. Well, you say that, but let's keep dreaming because I think those opportunities can happen. But you have to believe, and you have to sort of, like I said, you have to invest in yourself. There's so many layers to this. So if anyone ever wanted to do something similar, I'm just saying, it's like there's so many layers to it. Get the hardware. You don't have to start with the best hardware, but always be looking to improve. Never stagnate. Never sit on your laurels. And always fine-tune yourself, Keep working on yourself. And that's where I'm at. So even if I had the best sounding microphone and the best audio equipment, the best computer equipment, it would make no difference if I can't even talk, So work on those things. I've come across people's video content, not on YouTube. On YouTube, it tends to be very professional. I like that. But sometimes I come across people's video content and they have mannerisms to their voice that I find a bit awkward, a bit strange, a bit off-putting, if I'm being honest with you. And I'm thinking these are things people could work out. And if they took that out, their viewership would go even higher as well. I'm seeing tarot readings where people keep licking their fingers before they pull the cards. that irritates the life out of me. It's like I can't watch this anymore, and I have to keep flicking because it's an irritation. There's no need to lick your fingers to touch cards and shuffle them. I don't do it, so I don't see why someone else needs to. A bit disgusting to me, in all honesty, but a lot of them are doing it, and it's like, again, these are little things people can cut out of their video content, and they'll find bigger gains. But then at the same time, it's like, don't change yourself too much. There's a balance to be had, but it depends on the quality of the content. See, I'm probably talking faster than I have done at different parts of the video because my natural way of talking is faster. So if I was in a conversation with people, I would be naturally talking quick. That's how I am. But I do find a level of composure when I need to. And I talk about this a lot. There's a level of professionalism within our lives, you know. It's like there's no point pigeonholing someone and saying you're not this or you're not that or you're not this. Yes, like there's levels to us. There's the home life, the personal life. There's like a still in like a professional setting where it's a workplace, but then there's also the setting. There's production, and there's a time and a place to be a certain way. You know, so like I say, there's a tone to your voice. There's a control of self that is really needed because when I record like an audio book, for instance, it's really important that I am as clear as I can. I don't hurry the reader, so I have to find a tempo and a tone that I think is suitable for the content I read. So there's a level with that, and it might take a couple of passings. You know, maybe I read a paragraph, then I'll go and read it again. How do I like the way I'm saying this? And then I find the tone I like, and I match it, and I say, right, this is how I'm going to read this. This is how I'm going to go through this production now. So it's not just like you're going with the flow, and it's just like all a given. This is how I'm going to do my content because it's not. You grow your content. You know, you grow a platform. And you can sit for other content users. I'm seeing some people yesterday on YouTube where I'm checking out these microphones. There's some incredible pro channels on doing this, and we'll all gravitate to specific people. Me, I like the genuine more than the high production. High production is still good, but the ones that I know, they know what they're talking about. For me, that I don't really care about the settings. There's one guy, he's got like music stuff all around him, like equipment everywhere. But for me, he's like the guy. His name's called. Let's see if I can just get him up without making the music go freaking crazy. Sure, his podcast stage. Just go on his profile. Hopefully, it just goes to his profile, not freaking start loading up videos. 319,000 subscribers. This guy should have more. But again, it depends if you're interested in sound equipment. But this guy, out of all the videos, 2 or 3 years ago, I think it's probably 3 years ago. I don't know. Actually, it might be longer. Let's not dwell. I can't remember when I bought this microphone. This one. It was through his video that I actually bought this. I'd watched so many videos, and in the end, I watched him, and the comparisons he was going through, all the microphones. And at the time, this was the one he recommended the most, and everybody was saying the Q2U, yeah, best bang for buck. Now things have changed, and the main reason is this one I think is a 16-bit audio, not 24-bit. So things have moved forward, but also the aesthetics of it is altered. Of course, you know this hasn't changed. They've not enhanced it. It's still the same microphone, yet they've all got these new production models, you know, like the Shure one, the one I've ordered. It's more stereo looking, more high, you know, it just looks better, doesn't it? More modern. So my one doesn't. So there is a sense of that. Of course, we all like new things too, but his content is always great because what he does, he always compares everything. You know, he shows it, but then he shows it. What does it sound like next to this? What does it sound like next to this? So he really goes into detail with it, but it's easy to watch. And I like the authenticity of it. Now, I'll still go and watch other people's content after because I'm just intrigued, you know. I want to get as much information as I can. But again, his setting doesn't matter, does it? It's more the advice he's providing and the information he's sharing. So I really want to show people really what I'm doing, the investment I'm putting in it, even when I can't even afford it really. And I know it's not a lot of money, but to me at the moment it is, which is annoying because if I'd taken this more serious a year ago, for instance, I could have easily afforded all of it. I could have got the most expensive microphone, and I could have got a really nice camera. Instead, I made a huge gaming setup that I ultimately sold because it was a distraction. And it's like, God damn, we make some decisions, don't we? So we'll see where life takes me. Of course, if money's not an issue, I'd upgrade to the SM7B in the future because who wouldn't want the best, you know? And I say the best, but I'm saying the best in terms of this level. It goes even further. You can get to the thousands, but I don't see the point of going absolutely mental. But yeah, anyway, so I just want people to see. Really, what I want people to understand is like, yeah, where you invest is where you'll you've got the chance to gain, if you like. But if you don't invest at all, you keep your production low, it's going to be low, isn't it? But I want people to see the sacrifices I make to my path too. You know, it's not only the time, it's the evolution of self, but I also keep enhancing the equipment I'm using to the best it can be. And I'm always in a deep connection with spirit. So that's where I think that's where my life is different to most. You know, most people just live a very straight life, very narrow. It's very, they're hoping things work out. I'm very much guided on my path, which I think makes me very unique. And I say unique, but there's many spiritual people out there that do the same thing I do. I just don't think they show I don't think they show the sort of the level of it within their lives and how they make decisions. And how much it guides them. I think it's more internal, it's more within themselves, more within their daily life that doesn't really get said. But me, I share it. So I'm talking about buying this. I don't know if I can afford it. It doesn't seem very wise right now. And then I pull the cards and I get the Nine of Cups. You know, and it's like, well, I think Spirit's telling me it's a good time to go. You know, and then the Hierophant was the highly spiritual being. So it's, for me, they're saying, yes, your dreams will come true. We're supporting you because you're a highly spiritual being. And it's almost like a confirmation that this is what you need to be doing. If it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing, I wouldn't have got the cards. This is where I need to be. So I'm not heavily on social media. For the most part, I was just on TikTok. First of all, I was on YouTube. YouTube weren't really growing. Then it started picking up. Then I went back to TikTok and YouTube stopped. And then I realized I don't like the fact that all these videos are on TikTok, and I don't really, in all honesty, I don't feel secure with the platform. I think they can ban anyone when they want. They suppress content an awful lot. So I'm always at like loggerheads with it. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable all my content there. And then if it ever closes, I lose everything. That's quite scary. Like, that is pretty scary. So I'm like, I feel a lot of faith in YouTube. Even if I saw less viewership from YouTube and there was less subscribers, I still feel it's more professional for what I create. My content's very long, and I am aware of that. The right people will enjoy it. They'll listen. It's almost like they make themselves a beverage. They'll get themselves all comfortable, and they come on this little journey with me while I'm talking. Some may skip around. Later on, I maybe put timestamps in. Maybe there's timestamps in this by the time you see it. I don't know, because it's time consuming to sit and do that. So anyway, that's a choice, because you don't go into the cinema and start asking to skip through the cinema, you know. So I understand the people that want the timestamps, and I get it. But at the same time, the content I create, it's more like, let's come and sit with me and let's go and have a chat. So that's how I do my video content, really. So that's where I am, TikTok and YouTube. But I'm also on LinkedIn. Now, sometimes I say it all wrong. I don't know if it's called LinkedIn, but that's how it is anyway. LinkedIn is where all the professionals are, so where you can make contacts. Now, I don't really absorb myself too deep into that culture, but I still feel it's far more beneficial than being on a Facebook, a gossiping profile. You know, I'm not into that. I don't want TikTok. I don't want any of that. I mean, not YouTube, the Facebooks and all that. I don't want that. I've had it in the past. Don't like it. It's more like a soap opera. So I'm on TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And for a long time, I just gave up on LinkedIn. But only recently, I've started posting links now. So if I make a video, I'll just put a link in. Again, I'm not making a huge effort in descriptions and stuff. It's more a place to say, look, if anyone's interested, this is it. And I'll just keep pumping them out that way. Again, if an opportunity comes, you just never know where the opportunity comes from, you know. If you put heavily in one direction because you feel so connected to it, you may be missing avenues in other ways, you know. So it may be someone on LinkedIn, a professional on LinkedIn comes across a video, a content I create, a book I write, I don't know. And it may be from there that someone sees it. But because I was so focused on TikTok, for instance, and I never pushed out to YouTube and LinkedIn, I'm missing an audience. I'm missing a prospective partner, if you like, a collaborative project. Who knows? So anyway, that's where I am. I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. And that is it. And my own website, of course, but I haven't been updating that. So again, these are all areas I need to focus on too. So I know this has been a bit sporadic, really, in terms of the fact that it was focused more on me trying to buy a microphone, but I'm trying to educate people as well to show them that, you know, to invest in yourself and don't sort of close every avenue. Of course, if I was on Instagram, I was on X now. I don't like calling it X, but with Facebook, if I was on those, of course, you've got more exposure, but I have to limit it because then I get really drained when I'm around all that. You know, it's too much for me. I'll get overwhelmed and it'll be like, that's not benefiting me now because now I'm irritated. An irritated self is not my best self. So then it's like my content will just get lost because I'll be so fed up that I won't create anything. So there is a level. There is levels to what we can do. If you can only focus on one, then just focus on one. Be honest, I think there should be a way just to post straight to YouTube and TikTok together. Like I'm using the TikTok's Live Studio software on my computer because they've got a compatibility mode, which I've done in another video, and it literally does a landscape and a portrait. Two files. It sends them both, and I get to customize how they look. And for me, that's the best way I can, because straight away the portrait one will go to TikTok, the landscape one will go to YouTube. Boom. Later on, I may only do landscape, and because TikTok's apparently trying to push that anyway. So if they're pushing that, I might as well just change it to landscape. But we'll see in the future. But I'm always looking to grow my channel, you know. I'm always building. And the other thing I've started to do on TikTok, to be honest, is I'm sick and tired of video parts. So what's happening is a lot of the time you're splitting all these videos into sections. So like here's a 10-minute section, here's a 5-minute section, and it takes me time to do it. And also, but I don't like it. To me, it looks messy. All these parts. Now people might like that on TikTok, but I'm not doing it. So all I'm doing now is 10-minute video on TikTok, because I don't even want to split it. If people can't bother to watch it, then don't. It's like the same with this. If people don't want to watch it, don't. It's like I can't. It's up to people, isn't it? But all I'm doing now is a 10-minute video on TikTok, and at the very end of that video is, for the full video, switch over to YouTube. Because effectively, YouTube is the primary audience now. It's where I'm sending the video. So if someone's only going to be on TikTok, they're only going to get a section of it then, because I'm not pumping all of it in sections. I don't want to. It devalues it. People are watching in the middle. Why are you watching it in the middle? Do you know what I mean? Someone sees part 2, part 3, part 4 first. Like, why are you watching that part first? Now, maybe it's relevant because I haven't gone back through the video. But what I will do is I start doing sound bites on TikTok. So I'll do the full video here, a 10-minute on TikTok. And then if I find little sound snippets I like, that 1-minute segments or 30 seconds, 1 minute, I'll just splice them and I'll sort of like post them as a clip, like a sound bite. So there's all little ways I'm trying to grow, expand. But yeah, whether it pays off, I don't know. But it's like, for me personally, it makes me happy to know that I'm doing the best I can and the production isn't inferior to someone else's. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if the presentation in terms of the surrounding room is not as good, there's nothing I can do about that. There is limitations. If what I'm saying isn't as good, then that's just what it is, you know. That we have a limitation of self then. But what I don't want it to be is a limitation of hardware, because that's quite frustrating. That just because of finances and just because of a setup, your content's less than someone else's. It's like, that's not a fair playing field, you know. But anyway, that's me sharing my new microphone. Half an hour me talking about the reasons why I'm of investing. But I think it's important for people really to see others really, I think, growing their platforms, striving for more, the thought processes of why they're doing this. Like I said, I could have gone with one of those cheaper microphones and I was more than content to do it. I nearly did it, to be honest. It's like the Mayano. That one you can actually get cheaper through them directly. Mayano, let me just see. Through their website. I think it's this one. I had it in the basket. It might come up. Yeah, in the basket. See, so this Mayano, at the moment you're getting it free. Oh, now I've got sound. This is annoying. Okay, forget that. Oh, why are they doing that? Wait a minute. Thank God for that. That's annoying. I hate when they do that. You go on a website and it starts playing it all. But anyway, here you can change it. You can get the black one or the white one. I don't know why it's showing me the black one. It should be showing me white. Oh, anyway, the black one. But at the moment you get free cables. If you click the one with the cable, you still get the same price. On Amazon, it's about £80. On here, it's 63. But then you go onto their website, it takes 10% off. So if you get it from Amazon, it's £80. If you get it from their own website, it's £57. I think it goes up. It might go up slightly because you've got shipping. $72. Check out at $72. I'm not sure if it goes up with the postage and whatnot. But anyway, through their own website, it actually goes cheaper. But again, I like Amazon because you can return things. If the mic isn't as good as you was hoping it'd be, you don't want to be stuck with it. I certainly wouldn't. So there are alternatives if you can't afford that, because I think we have to start somewhere. We're not all going to start at the top. We're not all going to start in the middle. You know, you're going to start somewhere, but you don't want the cheapest budgety thing we can get. You want to go somewhere that's at least presentable and at least offers something substantial. Because sometimes, like I say, when you're starting out, you don't even know if you're going to do it long term. I've been doing this now for 3 or 4 years. And looking back, I probably did it before then without even realizing. But for my own recognition, 3 or 4 years, and I'm noticing the improvement, but more I'm noticing my commitment to it. And because of that, now I'm investing in it because I'm like, I can see myself doing this for years. It's like it's easier than, like I said, it's easier than the books. The books I'll do for 3 months or so, and then maybe and then I tend to go off and keep talking. And now I find in even between books I'm talking. So it's like, wait a minute, I'll probably be doing this for a long time. So then let's start by taking it serious. Let's get this all production improved, you know. But if you're just starting out and you don't know if it's going to be a commitment like that, there's nothing wrong with it. This microphone, to most people, is probably going to sound fine. I don't know. I can't hear it back right now. But it might be that someone likes it. It's £80, a Samson Q2U. But like I just said, the newer models now that have just come out are the alternatives now. These Mayano PD200X and the Fifine K688. They're the two alternatives that personally I was looking at. And they're supposed to be good. So these are the options now. You get those type ones or my one. There's also a Q9U, I think it is. It's a better model of this. It looks far more streamlined and the sound is incredible. I heard the sound and I loved it. So if I just go on the Q9U, just quickly, I'll just to show people this one. But the price is different to what people are saying. So sometimes the price just goes up and down like a yo-yo, you know. The Q9U, I'm not even seeing it. Here it is, the Q9U. There's a Q9X. I don't know what a Q9X is. I'm not sure of that one. So this is the Q9U. So I could have considered this one instead of mine, but it's not through Amazon for starters. Oh, there's one here, a used one. The sound was great, but I'm like, as great as it's sounding, I know the Shure top end model is the one professionals are using. So I'm like, let's just stick with this. It's a decent price. And again, I'll see what it sounds like. But that's where I'm at now on my journey. There's a little bit of improvement there. I know the camera and all that needs to improve at some point at a later date. And it's all the little fine tuning, isn't it? Like little things we can do. But like I say, when you're in your own home, sometimes it's a bit more of it's a space, isn't it? Things change. We move homes. We go to new spaces. And that can change them. But a lot of us have to start somewhere. And it's like, I'm not going to not record something just because I haven't got the best space for it. But the good thing about, just want to say this before I go, been long, I know, I don't mean to be long, but it's the way it is. When looking for a microphone, you've got to consider where you want to place it. So if you want a microphone above your head, booming above your head, you're going to need a condenser mic because that will pick up everything. But you're going to have to really work on the gains and everything with that. You're going to have to fine tune it because those type of microphones will pick up cars driving down the street. If you've got a fan on, I've got a fan on right now because I like to have air flowing around me. Otherwise I get hot. So that makes me, on them microphones, you couldn't possibly do that. You'll hear that murmur. You'll hear a lot of noise, the wind blowing against it. It'll be absolute chaos. Then you've got the dynamic mics like this one. And that's what the other mic is as well. So you have to have them closer to your mouth and they have to be directional as well. So you can talk off it like this. I can still talk off this and it'll be fine. But the sound is always better when you talk directly into it. If I had it above me, it wouldn't pick me up. The sound quality just wouldn't be good enough. And even if I improved the gain to the point where it could, it's just, there's no point. It's not what the mic's built for. So you have to look into the best way to use your mic. Now, I should be using a pop filter, and I don't know how bad the sound's been. I'm hoping it ain't terrible. Again, I'm always experimenting. It usually has the sponge cover. But I'm getting a bit fed up because it looks terrible with the sponge cover. There's production qualities, but it's really important that we have these. Then I've got pop filter, and I don't like it. It's white. You'd put that there, but it covers your whole mouth. But the sound quality is incredible with a pop filter. I'd say that. Once you do that, so if I was doing my audiobook, for instance, I'd just have the pop filter because audiobook, people are not seeing me. But I think when you're trying to do a video and you're doing that, it's just really shit. That's annoying. So the alternative is you put the sponge over the top of it. It still looks okay, but it's a bit terrible, really. With this model, I don't like it. So there's that. And apparently on the new microphone that I've bought that's coming, some people have even taken the sponge off that one because the high ends are clearer without it. But again, it's going to depend on where you're recording. I'm not going to do that on camera, but if I'm doing an audiobook, I'll consider the alternatives, take that off, put it on, use that. Pop filter as well. So there's all sorts of things you can do, but you have to consider the environment you're recording, but also how you're presenting it too, because you have to find a middle ground. So the new microphone is I'll probably have it dangling down or I'll be experimenting a bit. I'll probably be talking off it a little bit through it, so I'm not talking at it, so it's not getting those P's and all the bursts of air. So I'll experiment, because for me the sound quality is so important. Though I like the deeper sounds you get by talking into the microphone. But yeah, it's all placement. It's all things to work